Hi and welcome everyone. It's Lavender Sky Panther with you on Friday, April 26th, 2024 for a nice little card reading. I figured it's about time for another one, and we're going to do the late night edition here. So it's not going to be select a group, it's just going to be one overall reading, just whatever wants to come up and come out this time around. I did pick the three happiest, what I consider maybe the happiest decks I have, happiest vibes, and then I picked some clarifiers from another deck, and I will do my best to get those in the description box. So let's just get right into it, shall we? So we have the first card that came out says take bite-sized steps. It's a number 46 or a 10 or a 1. If you're looking at numbers, I always recommend that you take a look at Australian blog site called Joanne Sacred Scribes Angel Numbers, something like that. And then you just type in the number you're interested in, and it'll give you the positive meanings of those numbers. So here we have a little scene of emperor penguins traversing the Antarctic, and we have a little baby chick. So what's interesting is at first glance we might think, oh, these penguins are heading off and marching off to their breeding grounds. Apparently they can go anywhere from about 30 miles to maybe 75 miles of a distance and walking to get to their breeding grounds or their rookeries. So in this case, you think, oh, they're going off to the breeding grounds, but actually we see this chick has already been hatched, so it's actually the opposite. It seems like they're, leaving the breeding grounds and going back off maybe toward the coast. So anyway, the chick looks rather contented, doesn't look abandoned or anything, and it more or less seems like kind of like the metaphor for, spring versus winter. So we've already arrived at spring with the chick, so to speak, and and now it's time to head off and move along into some of the other seasons, right? Now they are showing these presumed emperor penguins side by side, and actually I think they travel in single file to take advantage of, supposedly to take advantage of the aerodynamics and to struggle less, in the snow if they formed a well-worn path ahead. So in this case, it's saying take bite-sized steps. Normally we don't want to follow. It's kind of nicer to be the lead usually. But in this case, it's kind of, I think the message is sometimes you can just kind of ride in the shadow of others at times, as long as you trust where they're going and take a load off. If you look at like cyclists, they often change up who's in the first position, who has to put up with the most resistance, and the others kind of follow behind. In German, the term is called Windschatten, so like in the shadow of the wind or the breeze, right? To take advantage of the aerodynamics of the situation, right? So that the others don't have to work as hard. And that's kind of what's going on here too. So in addition just to taking maybe little bite-sized steps, maybe baby steps as we're reminded with the chick, maybe sometimes too we don't always have to be the trailblazer. Maybe it's just a nice friendly reminder to sometimes, maybe take the back seat once in a while and see things from a different perspective. That's what I get off of this card as well, because we have an unusual perspective looking at the chick, kind of watching everybody heading back, a little bit off to itself. All right, now I asked for a clarifier on that card, and I got this, which actually I'm going to come back up here. Notice the violet kind of purple palette in that card, and then the chick is a warm tone, really stands out. So when I pull the clarifier, it's temperance. It's number 14 or number 5. And we have this kind of ice fairy maiden. And she's also kind of got purple palette behind her. What's interesting here, we even have purple hyacinth, I think, in the foreground to the right. And we've got, we're catching this fairy being at the moment of like a thawing out of the snow. So it's kind of also hinting at we've got a spring situation, even to the extent where we're shifting from winter to spring, in that the jug on the left is all icy, representing winter, but it's pouring into a decorative jug with flowers around it, symbolizing spring. So it's showing kind of this shifting from one season to the other, maybe one that's a little more maybe considered lifeless, maybe a lifeless state, maybe you're feeling kind of stagnant or kind of dead inside for any number of reasons. It's not funny, but it's just, I've been there too, that's why I'm laughing. I know it all too well. So it's kind of representing that maybe there was a time of a little more darkness or stagnancy, and now we're heading into a time of more life and vibrance, and nice, beautiful, colorful flowers here. And just like too, we have this chick, was going from more of a darker horizon, but we got the new life and this warm little glow of this warm and happy, fuzzy little chick. So here too, we've got some of the colors going from a cooler palette in the background to a warmer palette in the foreground. So to me, this represents, it is a new beginning of sorts, like again, like the chick and the new life springing forward, and that there's every reason to want to celebrate. When we look at that jug, it's definitely, she's pouring what looks like maybe that jug was even sitting in the water, getting, chilled. But that's just kind of like the utilitarian service jug on her left, and the more decorative jug that you would present to the people, or vase, is beautiful and full of life. So again, I just will kind of wrap it up, and this applies to you, and you want to use this kind of as analogies and metaphors for yourself. I think we're leaving a darker time, we're heading into the light, and things are going to start to be more warm and fuzzy, and more of a happy celebratory nature. We're heading into more celebration times, especially if you're coming from times that have been less than. So I guess I can just sum this up by saying, look forward like this to better times ahead, and we'll get there little by little. It's not just one huge leap into from one environment to the other. This might just be kind of a gradual progression, into these happier times. Okay, like even the water, things need to thaw out gradually usually. Okay, that's just for that little segment. And now we look over here and we have music for manifesting. And we have this mermaid being sitting on the crescent or silhouette of the moon. And below, we can just presume there's clouds, so she's really up there. And she's holding on to this golden harp. And the message here says, to manifest rapidly, think of your desire while you chant, hum, sing, or play music. And so here she's in a state of maybe playing something softly. I get the impression just idly, maybe just strumming with no real aim or purpose, just kind of getting lost in a daydream state as she maybe reflects or thinks on something. Now, I asked for a little clarifier too, and we have Ace of Chalices, or number 1, and we have this fairy being also who's kind of clutching onto an object, in this case, a golden candle. And what's interesting is we have this flame encircled by like an aura that could also be a loose translation of this, crescent moon glow. And the in this case, the flame is the little, I'm not little, but the mermaid being herself, or the harp within it, or the music that's created as her fingers strum, the strings. So looking at all of this, and I'll pan down to show the rest of the cards, we've got this chalice or this cup. Looks like it's standing on the ice. It's not floating, it's standing maybe on ice that's also kind of thawing out. And again, much like what we had over here, again, we have a scene where we're kind of we're in the middle of a transition between winter, moving presumably into spring, because we've got things thawing out, and we've got the flowers again represented here. The color palettes, are kind of similar. Up here, it's a little bit more of a muted version of maybe, indigo blues and purples and violets, a little more somber. So here I'm just kind of getting, what kind of tune would you play? What kind of tune would you sing or hum? Are you in a melancholy state, a little more somber state like this? Maybe more reflective? Seems maybe a little more sorrowful or mournful, what she might play. Or, are you kind of more down in here where your flame is a bit brighter and you have a little bit more, vibrancy and life to you, where you would be ready to sing or hum, sing or play something, chant something a little more lively, even the snowflakes beyond, or, seem to imply like almost like confetti falling on a party. So things are a little more jubilant, just a little bit more in this scene, compared to here. So I did post on my channel, on the community page, some links to some more somber songs that, if you need to sing along or chant or hum along to something, to kind of release some tears. I think, this past week, if you've gone through anything like I have, I've had waves of just melancholy kind of hit me out of nowhere. And I've just felt the real need to cry some stuff out. There have been recent transitions or, basically people passing. Too many in the last couple of years that I've known, and some of that has caught up with me. And I just felt like, wow, I thought I healed through some of this already, but guess what? Nope, something's bubbling up and it's time to release some tears again. So I did find, a couple of songs that would just help induce those tears, let them flow and let it out. There's definitely a time to laugh. There's a time to cry, absolutely, and to heal and to feel it and heal it. So anyway, it just kind of reminds me here, perhaps there's a little more somber song that you might want to pull up a song to listen to help you release some of those tears. Don't keep them bottled up inside. And then, of course, there's other times to get something else more cheerful on the playlist and then have a more celebratory tone, right? And sing along, dance along even perhaps, right? Okay, that's all I'm getting for now off of these particular cards. Then we have another one that I pulled, and it says, what if everything is already working out? We always look at, what if the worst happens? Now it's time to flip that around and just think of only the good. Like, what if everything is already working out? Then what are you going to worry about? Don't worry. Just bask in the sun. And this one, the ladybug is sitting on this leaf in all its glory. There's a sunflower, but to me that's kind of a representation of the sun nearby. And this ladybug has not a care in the world. It's not worried about any predators striking it. It's feeling pretty darn lucky, and it's taking a moment to bask in the sun. So the message below is also charm. And I would just ask, when's the last time you just let yourself totally relax and bask in the sun without a care? Literally, maybe just close your eyes and turn your face to the sun. If you're in a hectic work situation, can you just take a break and go out and let the sun hit your face, or feel nature around you, and then step back in, take 5. And are you feeling lucky? Like, what if everything is already working out? Have that in your mind. And I would even rephrase that to say, everything is working out already. And even if it technically isn't, allow yourself to close your eyes and put your face in the sun and daydream. Imagine what it's like if it's all already working out. How does that feel? And let yourself visit that place more often than not. So as many times as you need to, until that does become your reality if you're not living it already. A ladybug does bring a sign of luck. In this case, it's also charm. If you scramble the letters around, it's March, right? March can be a month, or it can also be, reminds me like of the March of the Penguins. There's a movie documenting the Emperor Penguin. But in this case, there's no need to do any physical action like marching. It's just time to sit there and soak up the warmth and the sun, and just feel lucky and just kind of sit in that vibration. I did ask for pull a card for as a clarifier, and below it we get 8 of Pentacles, and or you can call it coins, and we have a man working at the stable, and he is forging or reshaping a horseshoe. And what's fascinating about this is we've got lucky coins and we've got a lucky horseshoe, as we're looking at the quote-unquote lucky ladybug and the charm of the ladybug. And actually, when you look at the shape of this ladybug, and then, it's kind of like a horseshoe, and the dots on the ladybug are kind of like the holes, an abstracted version of the holes in the horseshoe, right? So they do relate in the form and then, the representation of what they mean as far as luck. We've got the man is also wearing, he's wearing gold and green and gold. And, we look at the ladybug above, and we've got the gold of the sunflower and the green on the leaf. Very happy, nurturing colors, very rich, and luck, I would say, bringing colors of good fortune and health. So in this case, it's just a good reminder that, what I'm getting off this card is, hey, sometimes we do have to make our own luck. Luck sometimes does just come randomly, or could drop out of the sky, like pennies from heaven, so to speak. And sometimes we have to work it a little. but we don't have to work it in an exhaustive fashion. He's just, kind of fine-tuning with his mallet, this horseshoe, but he's not like, crafting an entire huge object that takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak. He's just kind of, doing some kind of light toiling to make something happen. So it's just a good reminder. Sometimes we do have things that, happen out of sheer luck. And other times we might have to just work it a little, work it a little to make our own luck. Okay, that's about all I'm getting for now. Hopefully something applies to you out of this reading. Maybe if anything else, it's just some friendly reminders. Maybe a buzzword or a color or something struck you that, brought other inspirations or ideas to mind or to heart. And otherwise, I just want to say right now, as always, I just wish you all the best, whatever you're going through, growing through, or experiencing right now in life. May it all be good. And if you're in rough times, may you move through it rather swiftly and know that you are moving through something. And in those times where we feel like things might be stagnant or not moving at all, just know that those are times where we still are growing, even though it might not feel like it. Okay, I guess that's enough for now. I just wish all of you tremendous peace and love as always, and a beautiful weekend ahead if I don't chime back in over the weekend. Have just a gorgeous right now and weekend ahead. Lavender Sky Panther.